What should we talk about? Wrestling, Star Wars. What do you reckon?
I think let's start off with wrestling and we can move on to Star Wars.
Okay.
I think for me, when it comes to wrestling, for me it's like funny enough talking earlier about cycles. It's like growing up when I was younger, having the Attitude Era with.
Oh, you're gonna bring up this Attitude Era again? Oh my goodness!
Shawn Michaels. You also had The Rock. You had Stone Cold Steve Austin. You had Undertaker in his prime. You had Kane. You had The Big Show. But then for me, it was like when it used to show like on Sky, and they would have like Raw and SmackDown on Sky. I would watch it. But then when it was then like, oh yeah, we're gonna make it more. I think it was like when like Sky TV was then coming in. So then you would then have to you wouldn't get Sky for free. You'd have to pay for it. Then I had kind of like a gap. So then I would kind of like
me too.
Watch it maybe at a friend's house or talk with it with my friends. But then when it then became easier to watch it in the like early 2010s, then is when I then got back into it. So then this is probably when I think. Like when Brock Lesnar came back and then he put the beating on John Cena, one of the most...
Oh, yeah.
And then also then CM Punk leaving, The Shield arriving, the dominance of, I would say at that time as well, of maybe the second batch of NXT coming in with...
Well, the 2.0, NXT 2.0.
Yeah. So you had Paige come in.
Yep.
You also had this just before like Charlotte came in. So you had Paige come in, and what's her name again? Somebody else. What's her name? The Man. What's her name again?
Oh my goodness.
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch, yeah.
And then
you know, Paige is back again.
Yeah. Because I think she took a break. Because I think sometimes they take breaks just to like rest the body. Because it's very like.
Funny enough, she didn't take a break. She went to AEW, but I don't think they knew how to utilize her effectively. She was something. She had another name in AEW. She had a real name in AEW, and. She was good, but I don't think she won any belts. But then as soon as she came back to WWE, they put a belt on her again. So I think she deserves it. I think she's put in, good enough work to actually, be celebrated again. Unfortunately, for a lot of the women from the Diva era, it's good to get that nostalgia, back with the Bella Twins coming back as well. So it's been good in the female division.
Yeah. So I've gone through like my cycles of like Attitude Era, and then I think did they call it the Altitude Era? I think that's what they called it.
No, the Altitude Era. No, you're right.
Yeah. So then coming back in the Altitude Era. So what was it the same for you, or was it different?
Yeah, it was the same. When it was free on Sky One back then, and we used to be able to watch SmackDown and Raw. We were all into it, all of that. And big shout out to my cousins. Sometimes when I think about wrestling, I always associate it with my late cousin. I used to go to his house, and he used to have it, used to play it. And I would just, sit there watching it. And I remember in the 2010s, especially during the PG era, when, John Cena was the face. I used to catch some of the matches. But of course, the Attitude Era, and I understand the reason why people have that nostalgic feeling for it. It was a time that it was a peak time. But I do feel like I've really fallen in love with wrestling again post pandemic. I feel like and I know this is going to be controversial, and I am currently in an Instagram kayfabe beef with the IWC. We're in this beef right now because I feel like they're just a bunch of wieners, moaners, complainers, whiners all day long. We sit on the internet whining. Because I come at wrestling from the creative perspective. Been at I've that degree in creative writing. I'm always of the mindset, especially in the kayfabe, that every storyline we get, and regardless of how rubbish we might interpret it, I would always cast it to, in the kayfabe world, this is fake. Don't question the writing. Don't question Triple H. Let him cook. I don't care. Because what they have is they have this commitment to long-term storytelling where we get some storylines that make absolutely no sense. But that being said, I feel like when we start to sort of unravel them later on, we start thinking, wow, that was really good. Like, we had really good build-up. Like, there's one that's really confusing right now, which is, why is this man back? He retired at WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar. Why are you back, bro? But I feel like a creative, even when they're wrong, they're not wrong, if you know what I mean. So I'm always like, look, I'm going to put my faith in this, and let me believe in this long-term storytelling. I think it's going to be for the best. But yeah, so yeah, I started off, I actually pre the IHD era. I remember we used to, and this is another story again with one of my family friends in Nigeria. Shout out Miami, rest in peace. Again, they moved in next door to us, and they would always have wrestling playing. And I remember back then, and whenever I think about Bret the Heat man, we used to watch that at theirs, and it was a really good time. Of this guy just come down in this flash of pink with the glasses, and he had that the submission move he does, and it was just it was a really good time. But I'm also like one of those that I want to sort of understand the history of wrestling, and love how some of these things have played out, not just in terms of what we the audiences see, but behind the scenes as well. So I'm always like fascinated by the world of wrestling and the business side of it, and how the politics and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and I think that is part of how I see it as well, because then it is like they're putting on a show, but I think the key thing I love about it is that at times they realize, okay, this is the storyline, this is how we've written the show to continue. But the fans, and in this specific moment, this will make it explosive. This is something that will change everything. And based on this specific moment, on what's happening right now, what we've written before does not match and will not actually take advantage of the current situation we are in. And I think also another thing people forget is that unlike like a normal TV show, or like how they have like the reality TV series that some of them that pretend to be real, but then actually it's just written out and then people play characters. With wrestling, because of stuff like injuries, and then also potentially because of, especially now, that they are now treated like actual athletes, that they can, if they fail a drugs test, they then have a specific ban as well. And I think the reason why they also have like drugs tests, I think it's insurance based. So then you can have a situation where you've got a star who's building up towards something. I think this is what happened to like Seth Rollins. That when he injured was it his knee when he was doing that move?
Well, the kayfabe one, because he had two injuries. One was part of the storyline, another one was actually the real one. The knee was the storyline. Oh, that was the shoulder. Because he did a coast to coast, and he hurt his shoulder doing that.
Because I know there was a long period of time, and then that's when like the Universal Championship was under the Kevin Owens, because Seth Rollins was out for.
Oh, you're talking about yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it was a knee, because didn't he like lift and then he stamped and then his like knee gave out, and then because then what happened was, so the first Universal Championship champion was Finn, but then unfortunately Finn got
injured,
and then it was kind of like, okay, it's going to be either Seth or is it going to be Kevin Owens who's going to be Universal Champion? And I think it was like they were announcing, okay, the Universal Heavyweight Champion is going to be split. You've got the Heavyweight Champion, you've got the Universal Champion, and I think the way that it was is that the Universal will be on Raw, the Heavyweight will be on SmackDown. So they had like a Universal title match, and I think it was Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor. Finn Balor won, then got injured, had to give the belt. Then I think it was going to go like Kevin Owens and Seth, but I think then Seth got injured, so then Kevin Owens had it for a period of time. And I think, who did he lose against? I think he lost against, if I'm remembering correctly, I think he lost it against Brock Lesnar, and then that's when they then brought back Goldberg. And then when Goldberg Spear had those two matches where he beat Brock Lesnar, and then the third match, Brock Lesnar then beat him, and then that's when you had the whole long Brock Lesnar Universal Championship reign. So I think to your point is that because of injury, because of anything that can happen in life, they have to be prepared at the drop of a hat. Kill this storyline, kill this development. We need to now take this person, and this person has to be ready because the spotlight will be thrown on them, and they will have to maybe carry the company for weeks. And I think that's something that Kevin Owens did. And when Kevin Owens then went full on, I'm going to be a douchebag, and especially a douchebag to Sami Zayn, and then also across the board, I think people forget like how much work Kevin Owens put in, especially when
I agree.
Rollins was injured, and then also Finn Balor was injured, so it was kind of like on Raw, it was kind of like him, and I think that is something that I think professional wrestling and WWE does so well, is that at a drop of a hat, you might have to change your plans for years to come because an injury has taken place. Or even potentially a talent you thought would renew their contract has said, you know what, no, I'm going to go to AEW, or I'm going to stop here and I'm going to now go into acting because I know that acting will then pay me X amount. So you might want me you might have plans for me to be a Universal Champion or a Heavyweight Champion or a Tag Team Champion. But now I have another lane in acting and I'm going to do that. So then at a drop of a hat, being able to then be flexible and adjust a whole timeline that they then develop.
You're right. And I think this will happen with Jey Uso, but IWC just didn't let him. But my issue with IWC has always been that, look, you guys are not going to the arenas. You can't sit on the internet and complain about where the storylines are because you think what you're seeing on television is what it is. Because at that time, Jey Uso was in the arenas, he was selling out merch. He was getting a lot of pops in there. Then we go on the internet and people are just complaining and just chatting every day. So that was what created my kayfabe issue with IWC. I'm like, look, if we are the brokies that don't go to the arenas, but we want to be the biggest whiners, in reality, we need to sit menaces back because, we shouldn't be the ones complaining. But what do you think about the current state of affairs with Brock Lesnar coming back? Where are we now? It was, how do you feel about Jacob Fatu acknowledging the tribal chief? The OTC? What do you think about that? What's your thoughts?
I think they found a gem with Jacob Fatu. I think they tried to make Solo Sikoa like the next major of that bloodline, but I think when the fans were like, no, Jacob is the guy. He has the gift of the gap. His voice is perfect, and I think that's one of the things that with WWE, you have to not only walk the walk, talk the talk, but the persona you put on has to emanate to the crowd. So I think the issue with Solo is that his aura could not emanate to the crowd, but as soon as
do you think so? Do you think so?
I think so, because I think with like
you think Jacob is a better talker than Solo?
I think not a better talker, but when he talks, the persona comes through. The persona
I get it.
the Lone Werewolf comes through when he talks. So then when the fans and the audience hear him and he's like, all gas, no brakes.
Feel
that aura. When he does his crazy moves, and when he does the
moves for me. It's the moves for me.
Everybody in the arena is like, oh my days, it is Jacob Fatu. And
he's a moves for me.
That's the thing I think that they saw that maybe potentially Solo doesn't have. He can have in the future. And also, people forget how young Solo is.
Yeah.
So I think what they'll try and do is like, okay, what we'll do is kind of like wait a bit. Fans are rocking with Jacob, especially even like, do you remember talking about with Jey Uso with merchandise? Like his merchandise of like the werewolf t-shirts are selling as well.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to use this and then have when Jacob is ready, when Solo is ready, to then try and go at it again. Because I think also one thing with WWE, I think that is similar, funny enough, to another sport I love that we mentioned earlier about the Knicks, is basketball, is that you have to be big to be a superstar. And I think that's why some of the people are like, oh, Jey Uso, because it's his size. And I think when people complain about, Cody Rhodes, it's his size. Because when it's I think the reason why Finn could get away with it was because he took on that whole Demon King persona. For Kevin,
I agree.
He was big, but he also had that I don't give an F. I'm willing to
I know it was athletic as well.
Yeah. And I think even like for like Samoa Joe as well, he wasn't as tall, but fans love Samoa Joe because one, he is a badass, he is very athletic, and he is a heel to the core. So I think if you don't have that full McIntyre look or Roman Reigns look or potentially a Fatu look, you then have to be able to then portray a persona that the fans will love.
Let me give a contrasting opinion regarding Solo.
Okay.
Let me give a contrasting opinion. And what I find interesting about Solo is a very... I think when Jacob came in and he was able to do that somersault of the top apron, that made Solo look basic. Bear in mind that Solo was untouchable up until that point. And then we start looking at Solo like, oh my God, Jacob's the one. But I feel like Jacob plays his role so well that it makes us even undermine him now because we just see this, faction leader and stuff like that. I do think that ever since they took away his faction, or at least the two guys that have left, Mateo and not Charles. I think Solo has become such a beloved heel now that I can't see Solo ever becoming a face, and I don't think we need him to. I think the problem is they've kind of crippled him a little bit by taking away Tongaloa and Mateo. So I feel like it needs to get two more people in this faction to rebuild it, because we need to build Solo from now against the November Clash. What do you call it? That thing they did a five-a-side. What's it called?
Survivor Series?
Yes, is it Survivor Series? Yeah. When they get a five-a-side. Yeah. Survivor Series. So I think we need to start building up towards that from now. Solo needs his two extra people. And I think the whole getting rid of the YS6 as well. I don't know what... I do know what WWE is thinking about is NXT and being able to sort of push the new talent to the front, because on average we're getting, everyone's like in their 40s now when it comes to like the superstars in the main roster, and a lot of people are not watching NXT enough to actually realize that there's some tremendous talents that are up and coming And big shout out to Shawn Michaels for what he's doing right now, because what he did with Oba Femi, with Trick Williams, and the young OG, people do not credit young OG enough. They do not credit this guy enough. Out of the three of them, big shout out to the other two, but when it comes to, what's his name? Jivan, his name's Jivan, right? That's from Young OG. When it comes to him, Jivan...
Evans? I think
Jivan Evans, that's it, yeah, Jivan Evans. Yeah. When it comes to him, and I think he's the hardest worker out of all of them. Because you would see this guy on Raw, on SmackDown, on AAA, on NXT. Bro, where do you take a break? I am off the... And he's only 21. That's something people don't, remember. I want him to become the youngest ever. Take that off Randy Orton. Be the youngest ever champion. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they need to put a belt on him. Because if anyone's going to take that away from Randy, it needs to be him. But I do think that Trick Williams also deserves the belt. Yeah. I think Oba Femi also deserves the belt. So I don't know how they're going to put a run on them, but they need to put a run on them ASAP. But I think, and I know, I don't know how they're going to twist the fate in this situation, but I need Jey to be the first to get it. I know it sounds crazy, but I feel like the future is going to rest really comfortably on Jevin. But that being said, NXT is coming up with some bubbly new talent. There's some people that don't look like wrestlers. They don't look like they should be doing what they're doing. But they've just been, so I'm really excited about what the future is looking like with them. But going back to Solo is such a great boss heel that he fits the role that he plays perfectly. So much so that we began to begin to have a little bit of contempt for him, because he's just perfect for that role, and he's crazy on the mic as well. So, but I feel like Jacob Fatu just
quickly to your point, I think the best moment I saw this year was when what was Seth Rollins' faction called? It was him,
the Vision.
The Vision were on them, and you had Paul Heyman on the mic, and he was talking, and then Solo cuts in and then brings his faction in. I think that was perfect, and I was thinking if you could get those two factions warring against each other, that would actually be amazing. And I think that is something that I wish they kind of do more of, is that, we've got two factions. Okay, this faction is beating up this group of people. This faction's beating up this group of people. Why don't we have a situation where it's like, no, two factions go at it, and they go at it with the belts, which then people thinking as wrestlers, I need to join a faction, and then you have the wrestlers who are like, screw that, I enjoy myself, I want to be by myself, I don't want to join any faction. And then you've then got like unlikely team ups. Like, for example, imagine like LA Knight teaming up with let's say, I'm just trying to think of an example with Sami Zayn, just because there's too many factions, and then if you don't have someone,
you know what I disagree. I disagree. I feel like the path that Sami Zayn is taking right now in becoming a heel, it needs that right now. I feel like when they tried to put him with the Bloodline back then, his heel run wasn't heel enough. I feel like he needs to be a super baddie. He needs to tap into all that hatred, all that, ego, pride, hubris. He needs to tap into the evil and win the title. I need that for him. So the journey is on right now. Let him go on that. But as for what's my man's name? You just mentioned him. LA Knight. So hear me out. I got this crazy idea. I feel like the Vision and the MFTs shouldn't war. No, I like what's building right now with Seth Rollins and what's the name of the two guys? We want to smoke. What are they called?
Oh yeah. Oh.
So what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong? Street Profits, right? I like what's bubbling right now. So I need LA Knight to join them. Something has to happen to bring LA Knight into that sphere. And I think I've got a perfect hate triangle in this issue. So if we've got the new Bloodline. We've got actually let's make it quad. We've got the Bloodline on one side, we've got the MFTs on one side, we've got the Vision on one side, and we've got the new faction that's going to build up with Seth Rollins and LA Knight and those guys on that side. But what I need is for the Vision and MFTs to tag together, and these other guys tag together, and we get something. But I need a plot twist, and my plot twist should be. What's the name of my man that's from LA, the new guy, that's the new hench guy, the black guy, that's being quartered by the MFTs right now?
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about, yeah. The one that was they showcased at like, one of the pay-per-views earlier this year,
Yeah. I need him to turn heel and join MFTs. I need that to happen because I feel like if we have him being the new enforcer for them, we are going to get a monumental run for MFTs that we've never seen before. He should join them, and I think we should get one more person to join MFTs that's just going to push them way over the line, but somebody big as well, so that we can just have like solid units. In fact, if we could get, and I don't see that happening, right? What's up with this Japanese guy that's been trying to call Tamatonga? What's his name? They were in that faction in AEW. What's his name? Shinsuke. So imagine if we recruit Shinsuke as well. I don't see it ever happening, but imagine if we get Shinsuke, and they could just have all five of them on that side. But then I want to see Shinsuke and Finn go head to head. I need a series with them. I need a series with them.
100%. A high-flying, hard-hitting match between Shinsuke and Finn. Yes. And maybe I'm thinking make a triple threat. Bring in a Sami Zayn. You've got a high flyer with Finn.
I need Sami. I need Sami. No, I need Sami on this
triple threat fight. Like Sami.
I don't know.
But in a fight, so a person who doesn't give up and will.
I don't know.
Damage, a high flyer.
I see it.
Heavy striker.
I see it, but I'm very partial to Sami going on that journey to get the belt.
Okay.
I don't want any distractions for him right now, and I need him to fully betray Raheem. I call him Raheem.